Winston.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Off the Court. This evening, we'll have an interesting conversation surrounding the Basketball Africa League, and I'm joined by premier coaches in the region, coaches who are champions in their respective countries. They've actually earned the stripes for themselves, and they will be representing in the Basketball Africa Roads to Basketball Africa League qualifiers that will be held in Zimbabwe. And this evening, I'm privileged to host Coach Griffin Kalua from Malawi. He is at the helm of the Bret Hart's Basketball Club. And from Zimbabwe, I am privileged to be able to host Coach Russ. They call him Coach Russ. So we'll go with Coach Russ as well. This is the gentleman who came all the way from Zimbabwe. And he was here not so long ago in Zambia for the qualifiers. And he brought some youngsters that did a wonderful and amazing job when the under 18 Afro qualifiers were being hosted. And this evening, ladies and gentlemen, we will be talking about the Basketball Africa League, and that is Coach Griffin over there. That's also this evening. And as per the drill, you are at liberty to be able to interact with us this evening and just, let us know what you think about the conversation that we're having surrounding the BAL. The coaches are here. We're not just going to focus. I mean, if I were you, I'll not just focus on how their teams are preparing and doing, but also just get insight from them. They've been there, they've done it all. So why not tap the knowledge? So since we're talking about the Basketball Africa League, let me start with you, Coach Griffin, all the way from Bret Hart's that will be taking part in the competition in Harare, Zimbabwe. How have the preparations been going so far?
The preparations have been good. We've been preparing for the past 2 months. The boys are fit. The strategy is working. What we feel like we needed to work on, we've done that, and we're just waiting for the day. We are in good mood. Everyone is excited. We're positive, and we believe this is our time.
I like the belief, this is our time. And I can see Coach Russ. Coach Russ, why are you smiling already? Okay, so Coach Russ, over to you. Hounds Basketball Club. I'll be very honest with you, Coach Russ. I didn't know about Hounds Basketball Club, not until you guys won in Zimbabwe. So maybe start there a little bit. Who is Hounds Basketball Club and how are the pets going for the BAL?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me here. Uh, Basket Hounds, we're 2 years old now, and yes, the goal was to make it to Bal, but yes, it came way, way, way too soon. Um, but it's because we're doing the right things, and right now here we are preparing for Bal, and the preparations has been good. We've been working. We've been doing a lot of running, a lot of playing, and right now we're just doing more scrimmages, just trying to get each other going. And we've got our players joining us that are already here now, and we're just trying to get them going. So for us, I mean, it's our first time here, and we're just gonna do our best. We're just gonna do all we can. I mean, we're so excited to play these games. I'm also excited to even coach at this stage, and our players as well. They are so excited to be playing in these games. So yeah, we can't wait.
All right, interesting there from Coach Russ, all the way from Zimbabwe, joining us on this conversation. Some people have no secrets. Imagine telling me, wondering if I'm paying for office space. What if this is my office? This is my. Anyway, I'll not delve into much. But Nikki, thanks for watching. Allison joining us all the way from the United States of America. Thanks for watching, and please share the link and invite everybody. Let's come and have this basketball conversation. I like the fact that Coach Russ, you mentioned that the achievement, came quite early. But for me, this is something that we should be very proud of, and it speaks, of the quality and caliber of a coach that you are. 2 years down the line, 24 months, being able to win the national championship is not a small feat, coach. This is something that deserves commendation at the end of the day. So one of the things that I would like to mention, maybe first of all, before we get into the nitty gritties of, maybe the other things that you get liberty to share, because I know not everything you're going to share. But generally speaking, Coach Russ, before I go to Coach Griffin, if a team like Hounds comes 24 months later, manages to secure the national championship in Zimbabwe, what does that say about Zimbabwean basketball? Is it growing? Is there good competition? What would you say to that?
Yeah, there is a lot of competition, but one thing I'll give the team as a very youthful team. Um, well, I, um, game. Obviously, we have things that were done differently from the older guys, and when you then win or when you then get the good results, I mean, you can only get better. You can only wish for better to come, and part of our success, doing things the right way. We try to do it the right way, and we try to always implement things that we believe in, our style of play, the things that go off the court. The team is built on family. We do things for each other on and off the court. Our relationship off the court, it translate to what we do on the court and stuff like that. And I should say I'm privileged to have boys that really work hard. They really work hard. That I should give them. They really work hard and they listen. They listen to instructions so well. And I'm so excited to see how we are going to handle ourselves now that we're going to the big stage. Things could change. Now these boys could be playing for the crowds, could be listening to media. There are a lot of distractions now. They are the talk of the town, talk of the country. So I can't wait for for what's coming next.
Interesting submission there from Coach Russ, coming all the way from Basket Hound, Zimbabwe. Coach Griffin, the floor is back to you. Let's talk about, last year I was impressed. No, 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 this year actually. I think the last time that you and I saw each other, you brought an under 18 team that came and beat the hell out of people in Zambia, left, right, and center. Let's talk about basketball development in Malawi. I know that you're doing quite some amazing job over there. This year I was privileged to travel to Malawi, and I was able to see just the extent to which you are doing, the amazing job that you're doing. Uh, Bring us up to speed when it comes to basketball development in Malawi. Where are we in the region?
Hey, my guy, the story is the same everywhere in Africa, man. I've been to Zimbabwe. They are complaining that they're not grooming more kids. At least Zambia, you have the youth league, but Malawi, honestly, it has to be you and what you're willing to invest and to get the best out of the kids around here. Because as as an association, I think basketball association in Malawi, in terms of youth development, they haven't done much. So we have a few teams that are very serious with their youth programs. In the north, we have a few teams. We have Kulande. In the south. We have in the south we have Crazy Warriors. Oh man. Okay, that's David. I think. What an entry, David. Okay, so as I was saying, just a few teams that are serious with youth programs. We are very serious with our youth programs. That's why when we came to Zimbabwe, you saw the kids that we brought. They're doing well. We are taking them to Tanzania actually in December for another night tournament. So it depends on the program. But as a government, we are very behind. There's not much to separate between us and the rest of. Maybe you guys there, you're doing better.
Yeah, interesting, interesting question there from Coach Griffin all the way from Malawi. So, guys, just to be able to make sure that we have quality sound, if you're not on the floor, I'll kindly ask that you mute your microphone so that we could hear clearly the one that is talking. David, you are the late comer here, but we welcome you anyway. So, what I'd like to know from you, David, is the question that Kuda is asking in the comment section, which Coach Griffin has answered and Coach Russ has answered. So those that may not know, Coach David Msonda is from Material Magic, and these teams, will be competing in Zimbabwe. So it will be quite an interesting affair. So, Coach David, just bring us up to speed. How are the preps going on the Material Magic side of things for the road to the Basketball Africa League qualifiers?
Hi, Wendy. Sorry, I'm just trying to set up my trying to get comfortable, set up my earphones and stuff. Hello.
Okay, so yes, we can hear you. So
Okay.
I was saying, yeah. So the question that I wanted you to tackle has already been answered by Coach Griffin and Coach Russ from
Okay.
Zimbabwe in terms of how their preps are going, and the answers we've gotten is that their preparations so far are going very well. They are confident. In fact, Coach Griffin believes it's Braveheart's time this time around to be able to win it all. But from the material magic side of things, how are the preparations going?
Okay. As you could see the background right now, we see the gym, and I think confidently say the preparations are going on well, and everybody's in good spirits. Though we haven't like really gotten all the players in, but we are hoping by tomorrow everybody will be in so that we can just do the final touches here and there and then here. But as far as I'm concerned, as far as everybody's concerned, we are good to go.
Okay. Coach Russ, let me come to you. Coach Griffin mentioned something very, very important. Before we get to government support and all these things, um, when we talk about supporting youth basketball, which I believe is key to creating strong teams that can compete in these competitions, we've seen this happen, in North Africa, in West Africa. They've got quite strong youth programs that produce players that go over, the Vitalis Chikokos of this world that go over and dominate in foreign leagues and do amazing things. How is youth support when it comes to basketball in Zimbabwe, Coach Russ?
Yeah, just like what Coach Griffin said, it's terrible. But we're struggling as a nation. But we are sort of like heading the right way now because we have a lot of academies coming up. Um, Good thing is we have academies coming up. The only thing now is having the right people working in those academies, and then also schools, um, the school leagues. There's the elite school league, and then there's the Group B leagues and all that. The Group B has been suffering since COVID. The elite has been up and running. But good thing now is both leagues are now up and running. So we should be going back to normal. We can't be losing to Malawi. That shouldn't happen ever again. Losing to Zambia. That shouldn't happen.
Uh,
Yeah, we need to put our house in order. Yeah. and all those programs. We just need to get back on our feet, and yeah, we should be back to normal.
Okay, interesting stuff here. I like I like the fact that Coach Ras doesn't believe that Zimbabwe should be losing to Zambia and Malawi. Coach Griffin, what do you have to say about that?
I know what he's talking about, man. You know, when the Zimbabwean teams came to Malawi for the Legion 5, they were embarrassed. And I understand their Minister of Sports almost banned the whole basketball community not to travel outside the country again. I don't know how far true that was, but it was a terrible performance by the Zimbabweans. I think that's what he's talking about. But things have changed, Coach Rush. You know, basketball in Malawi is not the same way it used to be. Basketball in Zambia, I don't think it's the same it used to be. Even Mozambicans, we are not afraid of Mozambicans anymore. You know, maybe we might be afraid of South Sudan and teams in the north, but here in SADC region, even people they're not afraid of Mozambique anymore. So it's a level playing field. So we'll meet there in Harare, and let's see what happens. Since you can lose to Malawians and Zambians, my friend, we'll see. Your mic is muted, man. Your mic is muted.
Yeah. Okay, there I am. So I was saying, this is the reason why I had to bring all these gentlemen together just to be able to talk basketball here because the competition among them is just amazing. The mutual respect is phenomenal. Talking about the level of competition that Coach Griffin has touched on, Coach David, the South Sudan that's coming to play against the teams in the region, I like to call familiar foes. Zambia, Zimbabwe, Malawi, familiar foes. Um, Coach Griffin says he's not afraid of anybody, and he has put a maybe on South Sudan. So, what do you have to say about South Sudan coming from Material Magic perspective?
Okay, from one side, first and foremost, I just feel to say, FIFA to some extent is just being unfair, especially to the southern region. We had playoff February happening recently. The group stage will be where we saw, teams in a group where there are only three teams, but all of a sudden they're throwing South Sudan to the southern region. For me, I feel to say there's a bit of, cards being played here and there, especially when it comes to, teams coming from the east and the west. But, the league I've seen with the local basketball in South Sudan, most of the great players are usually, based outside there. And I'm just hoping to say this time around, the team that's going to show up from South Sudan will be a team that will be spread all. So as for me, as far as I'm concerned, shooting South Sudan, yes, it's going to be competitive, but I feel all the teams in the southern region, as Coach Griffin has put it, are well prepared. Basketball has evolved. Yeah, back then I remember, we would play Angola, and we'll be talking on the bench to say, okay, guys, listen, by halftime the team gets to 100, and if they don't get to 100, that's a win. But this time around, it's something different. Teams are actually putting in the work. You can actually see to say by the end of it all, they're no blowups. So for me, actually, to say, building in South Sudan, it's going to bring competition, but we're ready for the task. And I'm seeing what Coach Griffin is doing there, fielding in our local players, Harrison and those guys. So I feel to say, Malawi as well, they'll give South Sudan a good run, and yeah. But for Zimbabwe, Zimbabwe now, Coach Rice, Zimbabwe, when Zambia comes there, just be ready. You know how it is. We're just coming from the under 18. You saw what happened. So yeah, we've got something in store for you.
Okay, Coach Ras. Coach Ras, obviously, from your perspective, of course, you've heard that Zambia is coming for you. Zambia is coming to continue where the under 18 left off. But as you respond to that, Coach Ras, um, we have Mozambique and South Sudan coming into this competition. I just wanted to get your thoughts, because David feels that, the coming of South Sudan probably to this division, look at the distance and all that, there could be some cards here at play and all that. But from a competition point of view, Coach Russ, how did you take the announcement that South Sudan will be competing with the southern teams?
For us, like I mentioned earlier, um, we are new boys coming into this. I feel like I mean we're okay with the underdog tag for this one. It's our first time here, so whoever comes, we're ready for the experience. We're ready for anyone who's coming. So I mean, it's good exposure for my boys, especially the local boys that have never played at this stage. So yeah, having South Sudan and Mozambique, I mean, it's still okay for us because it's the same thing because we've never been here before, so we're okay with the underdog tag.
Okay, so they always say that you have to be very careful with the person that comes as an underdog because they have nothing to lose. But anyway, moving on from that, Coach Griffin, let me come to you. You talked about investment earlier, and I would like to find out. The Basketball Africa League is not easy to be able to participate in because it comes at a huge, huge cost. So when we talk about the level of investment, how is Bravehearts mobilizing resources? How has the journey been? Has it been easy? Are you where you want to be as we speak? And what kind of support would you love to see, especially for a team that qualifies and carries the flag and just has the opportunity to take part at this prestigious competition?
Um, thank you for this question, man. You remember last bow we had registered to play. Then we put out I think a week before the competition, and it was because we were promised that somebody had promised that they'll fund the trip for us. But ever since that was our first time we wanted to get help from somewhere because we've always funded our own tournaments, our own trips. When we failed, I said I think there's no one else who can help. But this year again, we went out to see if we can get help from government, if we can get help from we are the national champs because some banks are the ones that are sponsoring a league here, a national league. So we went to the same banks to say, come on, man. You see, we are the product of the league that you're sponsoring. And as a product of the league that you're sponsoring as the national champs, take us to the Basketball Africa League. You know, we went to another bank. We went to different people, not even a single dollar. So I said, let me just get out of that way. We're just gonna do what we've always done. We have to finance our own things, you know. So we went back to how we've always done our things, because I feel like I don't know how it is in Zambia and how it is in Zimbabwe with Coach Rush and David. Most of the times I see Material Magic on their page. This one is donating this. This one is donating this. Maybe we don't look like we need anything. That's why maybe people here are not donating anything to us. But it's tough. It's tough, man. It's very tough. It's very tough. So we had to we had to dig deep and fund this trip. And also, if there's an opportunity that we proceed to the next round, we are only given, I think, 1 or 2 weeks That is the same thing with Basketball Hounds, the same thing with Matero. If they proceed to the next round, they will only have about 10 to 12 days to mobilize more funds, which are similar to the same funds that they're spending now, which is not less than $15,000. So it's difficult, honestly. It's not easy. It's not easy.
Interesting thoughts over there. Coach David, let's hear from the material magic side of things. How is the level of investment? How is the quality of support coming in for the team? Are you happy with where you are at the moment?
Like Coach Gibson has put it, the situation that's happening in Malawi is similar to what we have here. It's a thing where Mateo Magic is a community team sponsored by, former uh, Mateo Magic basketball players. So it's from someone's pocket, not really from the corporate world. And it's been a struggle, especially, with all these delayed pronouncements where they, FIFA will delay communication to say, okay, the date will be on Saturday. But right now, where we are when it comes to the funds and all, it's a struggle. We're still going out there, still reaching out, trying to see, how we can get to Zimbabwe. Because, coming up with $15,000 to $20,000, it's not an easy thing. Yeah, so it's a struggle. So for me, I feel to say, even FIBA needs to understand, especially when it comes to uh, when it comes to the cost implications, especially the group things. For me, I feel to say certain things need to be waived off, and maybe even just provide a certain grant to the champions. For me, I feel this will definitely help the team. Yeah, so it's not cheap. It's quite expensive. So, but we're trying to get the whole um, trying to get the fans reaching out and hoping people are going to come through and support us to get our target. But I would also want to extend a thank you to all those that came in and did their donations. Yeah, we've got people from the diaspora reaching out, yeah, sending us here and there, fans. So to that, I give credit to them. And I just want to reach out to everybody, say everybody who's watching, if you're a basketball supporter, just reach out, help these teams because at the end of the day, we're not just supporting. It's not just material magic. We're talking about Zambia as a whole. So yeah, so for me, I feel to say it's a big thing.
All right, so that was Coach David over there giving us a picture from the material magic side of things. Let's get to hear from Coach Russ. What's happening when it comes to resource mobilization from Basketball Hounds? Are you guys comfortable, or the story is quite similar? And just how is it over there?
Yeah, the story is the same. I mean, it's really hard to put things together. The funds and you're trying to put the team together. That's hard on its own, and you trying to pay this the FIBA fees and all that. It's really hard. We do not have the corporate involvement in this whole thing. I mean, they don't see the gains, maybe, or maybe they feel like basketball is not that popular, so it's really hard to get sponsorship and all that. So we've been doing it like what Coach Griffin said. Yeah, you just have to um, put in from within, and here and there, maybe that's when you can probably get a sponsorship, a donation for maybe kids water or something, but not the major things. Yeah.
Obviously, as indicated, the story is almost the same within the southern
But
region. But
I've got something to say uh, concerning
please,
what
please go ahead.
yeah, what Coach David said. It's very I think it's something that can if FIBA can do something on the fees as well as maybe waive some of the fees for a team that maybe qualifies to the second round, because I can guarantee uh, maybe let's say Matero goes to the next round, it will be it will be another torture to raise another 15,000. It will be difficult within 10 days. So imagine if a team goes to the next level and they don't actually show up. So NBA or an NBA Africa and FIBA, they need to do something about this. Actually, there was a certain meeting that I attended for Basketball Africa League. We voiced these issues. We told them that if a team goes to the second round, even for the group stages, for maybe for countries that have never they've never gone to the next level, maybe countries where basketball you don't hear much about basketball, where they don't even send their national teams anymore. They should find ways to subsidize and say, let's encourage these countries. As much as we know that organization of our association is the major issue in our Ministry of Sports, but still they should recognize the efforts of different individuals that are very passionate within those countries and see how best they can help them so that the basketball in those countries can also go far, like the way they've been pushing these Portuguese speaking countries as well as the French speaking countries, and the north. Things have been moving. The academies there, NBA is usually having events there. Giants of Africa. It's always in the north. It's always in the west. They can do something for us as well in the SADC region. I don't know how we can get the voice to them, but it's frustrating, honestly. If we can do something to get our voice to them, maybe they can wake up a little bit. What David was saying is very crucial. They wave something, then the motivation is there, because now one person is looking at, so I have to raise 15K and spending another 15K already. It's not easy in today's economies to spend $30,000. It's very difficult.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just to add on what Coach Griffin has said. For me, I feel to say the federations as well have a role to play in this, because if everybody in the southern region just came together and just voiced out, because I feel to say the NBA, FIBA, that's a very big brand. If they can pave a way where they set up even just partnerships with most of these corporate companies. Maybe let's say here in Zambia, they partner up with Coca-Cola Zambia, knowing to say Coca-Cola Zambia will not to say, come October there will be this. Yeah, they partner up with most of these transport companies, knowing to say, come October a team will come knocking. You are given subsidized rate for how you're moving, subsidized rate of the trips that you're buying, subsidized rate of everything that you do. For me, I think that's going to help, because we are talking about teams that are developing. Right now, we can't say basketball in the southern region is a professional, it's a professional sport. We are still in the amateur stage, so we need all the help we can get. And having basketball known out there will take the NBA, feedback, talking to these companies on our behalf. Because most of the time when you go visit most of these corporate companies, they say there's even basketball in Zambia. Oh, okay, we didn't know. So it's kind of hard. So I feel to say the federations, they need to reach out, air their voices, try and bring, have all these NBA brands, everything known out there, And let it just be easy for these guys. We qualify, we don't have to say, oh no, who am I going to go to? You know who you're going to go to because they've already partnered with those guys. So I think to say federations they need to step up.
Okay, indeed, federations have a role to play in all this in ensuring that adequate resources are mobilized for these tournaments. And another thing that I've seen, having interacted with a few people in different jurisdictions, what I was getting is that, in some of these countries, they are just individuals that come together with money. Of course, we can't influence what people want to do with their money, but there are individuals that would come together and just pump in money and be able to ensure that a team is adequately funded. It has everything that it needs. So those that will have an opportunity to listen to this podcast, who have the cash, who have the dollars, okay, I think they also need to, just come through and be able to partner. As David said, the federations have a role to play. Everybody else has a role to play. As Coach Griffin said, teams are struggling to be able to just raise the money and do all these things. But even the rich people, that love the game of basketball, we need you to come up and begin to support the game of basketball. We need you to come through and do these things. So, Coach Griffin, moving on. Allison there says, okay, yeah, the BAO and the NBA needs to invest in clubs when they qualify, of which they do. And but the level at which they start pumping in money, by then, the poor clubs will have already exhausted everything that they can use and find and get. But Coach Griffin, coming to you, we would like to find out, lately I've been monitoring on my social media as well. One team that caught my radar that has been doing, stacking up quite a lot, of players from all over the place just to be able to prepare for their East Division vow is Urunani Basketball Club from Burundi. Are we expecting to see some, foreign players in Bravehearts team as they come or as they go to compete in Zimbabwe?
Yeah, I've seen Runani. Actually, this other day we were joking with some of the coaches from South Africa to say, where are they getting the money? Because having having Sibanyoni and Atel on the same team, and the short guy from on the same team is not easy. And having them for the whole league, and also Dynamo, the players that Dynamo had. Hey man, it's the whole Bal Qualifier budget. I don't know where they're getting the money. Okay, coming to the question, if we are getting some players for the for Bal Qualifiers, definitely we'll get a few people to help us. But as my philosophy, I work with the same people that I've always worked. I don't usually add new people. The same people that I travel with when we go to South Africa, those that I travel with when we play here, are the same people. Nothing new, not much. What we've just worked on is to make sure that we build more chemistry with the players that we have. That's what we've spent a lot of time on. Because if you remember the last tournament we had in Malawi, the tournament that we usually host in Malawi, BIBC, we played Mateo Magic in the finals. Uh, David did his job, you know. So we were just trying to see what went wrong and what we can do better. We haven't spent a lot of time trying to import, trying to recruit a lot of people. We don't have the resources. We have to be honest. Players that big, they need a lot of money. So we just worked more on chemistry and strengthening the team in areas that we felt like we were not good enough. So that's all we've done so far.
Okay, let me come to you, Coach Russ. Are we expecting to see some interesting faces in house as they come? Are the debutants going to surprise us, perhaps with the presence of the almighty Vitalis Chikoko or somebody else of that caliber? from anywhere else in the world?
I mean, that's the plan. You never know. When new boys on the map, you could be seeing Vitalis wearing the Hounds kit, playing. I mean, he- yeah, but we didn't do a lot of recruiting. We just tried to maintain with the local players that played the throughout the league, and winning the national league as well. We tried to stay with the same roster and just to cement our systems. But yeah, we managed to recruit guys like in areas that we feel like we needed attention. We needed to reinforce, but we didn't do a lot of recruiting.
Okay, let's now get to hear from Coach David Musonda. Are we also expecting to see some heavy recruits, or maybe the story is the same?
Okay, like Christian has put it, now it's expensive bringing in these foreign players because they ask for quite a lot. You find to say some will be taking themselves as high as $2,000 just for playing for you for 2 weeks. So it's a challenge, especially that we're trying to look for fans and we're trying to develop a sport. It's a good way you keep adding players to help you here and there, but at the end of the day, you need to grow your local talent. So as Material Magic, that has been the few times we've been there. Yes, we're going to see in one or two, but the majority you find to say is just Material Magic, and we just it's not just Material Magic, but the local players from within. So we try to work on that so that at the end of the day, we are not depriving the development of sports, the exposure of the players for the local players out there. We want them to be exposed. We want also us, we want players to, to be the next, the Sivanyoni are going out there and sell it, where people are able to see, okay, in Zambia, the still is developing. So yes, we brought in one or two, but majority is just the local players because, the constraints of, fans, won't just allow. So right now, we just banking on just our local powerhouse.
Okay, so clearly what we're getting here is that the challenge of resources for both, for everybody else, actually is real. And in as much as you would want to beef up teams, like we've seen in Burundi, where there's massive purchasing, unfortunately, you can't do that. But all of you here have raised something very, very important. The issue of, building on team chemistry, as Coach Griffin rightly put it, the aspect of giving the locals an opportunity on the stage, as Coach David put it, and also, the challenge, I mean, the aspect of promoting local basketball, as Coach Russ put it. Now, I want all of you coaches to speak to this, okay? For example, if you bring a player like Sivanyoni, we've all watched Sivanyoni. And when he started in the first season, he was just a guy that was picking rebounds, and not really such a huge factor, okay? He wasn't really somebody that would, look at like Vitalis or anybody else, but look at the tremendous progress that the guy has made to become one of the sought after rebounders in Africa at the moment when it comes to, regional or BAL basketball. What would you say, Coach Griffin, to the local players in your team right now? You know, how would you encourage them to work on their game? Because it never just started. One has to put in the hours, one has to work on their game. What would you say to the local players when it comes to that?
Okay, I'm glad that you mentioned Sbanyoni. I think you remember I brought him for the Zambia Monali Science tournament. He played for us there. Um, when he left after the finals, uh, the impact that he had on my team is not the same. those players are not the same, man. One of my forwards, he's been in contact with Sibanyoni since that time. They formed a good relationship, and this other day he was telling us how he picked up a ball and started playing. It's not. He didn't start at a very young age, you know. But from the background where he comes from in Soweto, and the rough history that he had growing up made him gave him the determination to work hard, and to the point that he would go in the gym in the morning, at lunch, and evening. So it's something that some of our players can learn from, and the fact that he's been on our team, the impact that has been left there is huge. Most of our players, most of our forwards, they just wanted to pick up the ball, get a rebound, and pass. But now you look at Sbanyoni, his ball control has improved a lot. He's able to work with the ball, you know. He's able to rebound. His post work was not that good. Um, his shot, his mid range was not good. He wasn't shooting from outside. Now he's shooting from all over the place, you know, and he's making them, you know. So hard work and being humble and listening to coaches is something that I think my players have already learned from Sibanyon.
Okay, interesting there. Let me come to Coach Russ. Coach Russ, what do you have to say about that? You know, we hear a lot of these stories, you know. Coaches love to prioritize and give prominence to foreign players, and, you know, they don't give the same respect and reverence to the local players who work hard to qualify. What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean that's a tricky one. I'll give you a very good example that happened last season with JBC. All the boys that played for JBC last season, I think uh, if not three-quarters of the boys, they left the team. Um, in my thinking, I'm like, we qualify this year, we go, we play. Next year, we stay together, we go, we play again. But it was not like that for JBC, and I feel like that wasn't fair. I mean, with all that you've done as a club, as a coach, like the investment you've done in putting the team together, and next season you don't have three-quarters of the team. I don't think that's fair. But as coaches, yeah, I mean, you should be encouraging local talent, which is what we've done as Basket Hounds. We even for National League, we didn't even import players from outside. We just stayed with the same roster that we used throughout the season, and we've got a beautiful story to tell. I mean, coming from humble beginnings, coming from we're just it's our debut season, and um with the local players, you know, that we came second in the regular season, and we came first in the playoffs. I mean, that's something that we can talk about for years and years and years, and I just hope the team stays together, and next year we come back stronger, and the following year and the following year, you know, we also want to dominate with local talent. Yeah.
Okay, so let me bring Coach David right now to be able to weigh in on that. What are your thoughts on this conversation? You know, local players complaining that when it comes to Bao, they're always sidelined, and, you know, foreign players are given preference. What are your thoughts on that?
Okay, for me, the way I look at it, each team when it goes out there, it wants to compete. You're just not going there to participate. Yes, the first time you can go there, you might just want to go participate, but at the end of the day, the main focus will be you want to win. You want to play at a level where, you know, you are able to, people are able to say to themselves, fine, you guys did fielding in international players will bring knowledge also to the team. We've had players like the first time we went out there, we had Leroy on our team, very very good pointer. From that time, the first time he played with us, when we came back, he had a positive impact on most of our players, especially our guards. They actually saw what he could do. They interacted with him. You give them pointers on how to improve on the game. And at the end of the day, it brings in a positive impact on the team, especially if you got a team of players that want to learn. Like Coach Griffin has put it. Sivanyoni played, and yeah, I was present during the time he was, playing here in Zambia. He had a very, very good game. The Sivanyoni that people see in South Africa and the Sivanyoni that we saw here, he was able to pull up, on the 3 point line. We don't see that in South Africa. He was able to dribble coast to coast, completely, quick hand. So at the end of the day, if our forwards, our players are looking at that, they will look at it and say, oh, okay, fine. Right now, the game has evolved. This is the forward that will average 15, 20 rebounds. But at the end of the day, he's got the handle, he's got the shot. He's able to even bring up. He can even play the what's it? He can even play the free position. So at the end of the day, the players, after experiencing this foreign player, they will see to say we need to work on our game. We need to aim to be where this person is. Simple example, look at Douglas Sandy. Douglas Sandy right now is in space. This is one guy that when he came to Mateo Magic, couldn't even dribble basketball. The only thing he do was just block and rebound. But right now, if you look at him, he's evolved a point where the international market looks at him and they say, we want you on our team. Last year, he was in a lower division. Right now, his game has gone up. He's in a higher division. So at the end of the day, the positive impact that has had was from his experience with international players out there. And it translates to the local players right now because everybody will look and say, we want to be where Douglas is. Basketball is a sport that can change your life. So at the end of the day, choosing international players brings a positive impact, especially when you have players that are there, that are willing to learn. And trust me, with the amount of money teams are spending on basketball Africa League, you would want to go win it. You cannot just sacrifice it. Okay, I know I want to develop my local player. Let me just go there, and before you know it, you can't win any game. Sponsors also need results. So building in is something that you can't run away from. So I feel to say it's a good thing as long as you as a coach you have a positive mind. You tell even the players themselves with a positive mind, they are seeing the benefit of having these guys because this is an extent of knowledge. We learn from them, they learn from us. So I feel to say, as much as yes, you want to say like one or two players, but we just need to understand the same. Basketball out there is all about competing at the high level, and these guys are going to compete at the high level, and they're bringing that balance to the team to help you, withstand these teams out there like Angola, Petro de Rwanda, you're talking about Monastir and stuff that kind of thing. Because those guys, the basketball up to now, it's at a different level. Yeah, they've got excess programs with the United States. So right now in the southern region, we don't have that. So we get the excess from these players that we get at the moment. So I feel to say it's a good thing as long as everybody just has the positive vibe and just having that that level of understanding to say we need to learn from them, they need to learn from us.
Okay, wonderful submission there from Coach David. Coach Griffin, let me come to you. I want to be an advocate of the players right now. I've heard certain players who feel that you never think about playing them, but expect them to play at the level of Sivanyonis and all these other guys that you're incentivizing in a way. As a result, for the sake of balancing this argument, as a result, we have a situation where players feel like, look, there's no need for me to put in the work because at the end of the day, I'm not going to be paid like that guy, even if maybe we may have the similar skill sets. Maybe the difference is just the height or whatever the case may be. But I want to get your mind right now. Should the focus entirely for our local players be on the money, be on the comparison? Or should they put in the work to be able to get to a point where their value will even speak for them before they even demand anything?
Um, I'll speak on two from two sides. Um, as a person who started Bravers from scratch, and I've seen prayers come and go, and you have to understand the reason why I'm saying I'll speak on two sides, because our program is different. Our program, almost all the players are on scholarship, because when we bring them, actually it's called Bravers Basketball Scholarship Program. But when we play in basketball, we say Bravers Basketball Club. How we do it, almost maybe 80% of the players, we offer them a scholarship. Maybe they come from the north of Malawi, maybe the south, or maybe the center. Some are from Zimbabwe. We offer them a scholarship. They come for school. The same thing with the girls' team. So to me, if the player is already in a program, in a scholarship program, and maybe it's a 4-year degree program, or it's a 2-year or 3-year master's program, I do not think it will be wise to demand money. Um, um, if we plot some players that are professional players that are not getting the same support from the team that they're getting. They're not getting the same support in terms of accommodation, in terms of food, in terms of student allowances, in terms of school fees, So that's why I said I'll speak maybe in from two sides. Then we have a few players on the team that maybe they're paid to play the game of basketball. Then those, if the skill level and the dedication and the commitment is the same with those that we are bringing from outside, then they have the right to demand something as well. But to me, it's also understanding that if this person is playing for me and getting paid at the end of the month, then there's another person who comes and plays for one weekend and leaves, and maybe we give them $20. I wouldn't really look at that as lucrative. I'll look at the relationship that I have with the team and the permanence that comes with the contracts that are there for playing for Bravers Basketball Club. So I'll say, okay, ask if you feel like you deserve it, but you also have to understand that there are other benefits that a player that comes won't have if that player plays for 1 week and leaves. So I don't think there's any reason anyway. But like you've said, players are different, and other players might feel like they deserve more if the skill set that they possess is the same with the person that we've brought. I've brought Harrison. Let me just give you an example. I've brought Harrison, the baby police. He's here, and his skill set and most of my forwards is completely different. He's a national team player for Zambia. What he brings is totally different from what my other forwards are bringing. But there are other things that my other forwards are bringing that Baby Police doesn't have. So when I'm compensating Baby Police for coming, my forwards here that Baby Police got 1,000 kwacha ZK, they wouldn't go, why? They would understand and say, I think that's okay. So sometimes we also have to manage by bringing players that won't ask for an arm, you know? So that's how I look at it, man.
Okay, interesting answer there from Coach Griffin, and very, very detailed from a Malawi perspective. Coach Russ, okay, we don't have Coach Russ here. I think we've lost him, but I know he'll be back. So, Coach David, as we get to conclude on this conversation, what are your thoughts? Okay, Coach Russ is back. Okay, Coach Russ is back. So, you you tell me, Coach David, what are your thoughts on this? You know, players want money now and they just want to be paid. You know, if you're paying these international players, these players that come from Zimbabwe, you know, we have a lot of Zimbabweans here, Coach Ras. We have a lot of your boys here. So, what are your thoughts on that, you know, Coach David? Because I've seen that this debate is two-sided. You know, well, if they're paying this guy who's coming to play for Bao, why can't they pay me as a local player as well? What are your thoughts on that?
This is an interesting question. Let me just touch on before I even get to this international player. I just want to touch on what's really happening, like in our local league at the moment. We're finding to say most players when when they come to join a club, they'll demand for compensation before anything else. But if you look at it, compensation comes with skill set. If you are a player that can only make a right layup, and I have an option to bring in a player that can make left with the right and the left. Definitely, I would look at okay. For me to bring in this player. Yes, I need to because he's going to give me more options when it comes to the game. So if I need to demand for money, the skill set has to add up. The local players right now with the trend that's happening in Zambia, it's a similar model with what Coach Griffin has going on in Malawi. Most players when they come join any club, even at Mature United, they are guaranteed to say their school, it's all about them being in school, them being helped. Let's say somebody's coming from, they don't have way, they would ask for, I need to, maybe do business and stuff. You are given something to do as opposed to giving you money in the pocket. Because at the end of the day, we want you to go beyond basketball, and that is to be able to sustain yourself. So we'll give you the education because even without basketball, education is permanent. You'll be able to grow as a human being. You'll be able as well to support the next player that's going to come and say, "I'll need help." You'll be able to say their fees. So these international players that are coming to help, they bring in a certain skill set, a skill set that most of the players don't have, especially in our local league. So if you bring them in, they'll just ask for a bit of funds here and there. But at the end of the day, they'll go back. We have gained both ways. The player has come, we've learned from that player. Our players have learned something from them. Yeah. We've compensated, they've gone. And our team at the end of the day ends up winning. So for me, I feel to say the aspect of money when it comes to the local players, what they need to do is they need to start matching up with the international standards. How the players out there are working on their game. Because trust me, day in, day out, international players are investing in their skill set. Being on the basketball court from morning until sunset. Right now, it saddens me. It's actually very, very sad the approach that most players have in Zambia. You find to say you go to a basketball court, 9 hours, the court is empty. Midday, the court is empty. Come 17 hours, the court is empty. Yes, between 18 and 20 hours, players will be there. Beyond 20 hours, people will be saying, "Oh no, I'm tired, I need to go home." But you're forgetting to say how much you put in. You are asking for someone to give you money. But how much work are you putting in to actually, equate that skill set to the amount you're asking for? So for me, I feel to say, right now, players just need to develop their game. If you want to get paid, be an exception. Why should I be looking at, why should Coach Griffin be looking at baby police? If they have a baby police in Malawi, these are the questions that the players, the local players, need to ask themselves to say, why should our teams be looking for help out there when we have the similar skill set? It's because we do not have. That's why they're going out there. So the local players we just need to understand to say, right now, the skill set doesn't add up to how much they're asking for. That's why we bring in these players. Because at the end of the day, even somebody who's costing us money will leave this out. So for me, I feel this is something that the local players we just need to work on their game, put in the work, and if we have 10 graduates in Zambia, we have all the sellers in Zambia. Why should we go out there to look for them when we can just fish out from what we have already and tell them, okay, fine, come play for me. I'll give you the equivalent because I'm not, you actually be the cheaper option because I won't even have to pay a flight. So I'll pay you that amount. So it's just up to them. Everything is in their hands to work on the game and just be exceptional. Don't wait to be told to say, go and train. Or right now, the common cry which is there is, I do not have transport. That's just lazy.
Your mic was off. I didn't hear anything. Maybe come again. Can you hear me?
Are you able to hear me now, Coach Russ?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So I was saying, from a Zimbabwean perspective, if players want to get paid, the local players, you guys are debutants, but JBC has been there. They have their own experiences, and we don't want to delve much into them. But what are your thoughts on players that demand, if you brought in a player from Europe to come and offer a certain service, as a coach, obviously you know that there is something that is lacking in the team, but the local players tend to feel that, well, why don't you develop the local talent and be able to meet that need for the team and reward them instead of bringing in a foreign player? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, uh, yeah, paid off for team. You ask someone to join your team, you see, the first thing they ask you is, so what are you offering? What are you putting on the table? And in my head, I'm thinking, I'm out here to teach you the game, you know. Um, but players, all they want is money, but they are not ready to work for it. And some of our local players, I mean, they'll only train when you give them transport money, and they'll probably come late for that practice session. The It's a 2 hour practice session. You only train for 30 minutes, and next thing is he wants transport money. So, but then if you look at players from outside, players from Europe and all that, they are actually putting in the work. They are working, and they're exceptional. So for our local players, I mean, they should really work hard. I always give an example of Vitalis Chikoko. Me and Vitalis Chikoko, we grew up together, and I could see all he was doing, the routine, the work he was putting in. I was not surprised when he made it, into the Euro League, French League, German League, and all that. And I'm yet to see someone who's gonna put in what he's been putting in, from Zimbabwe. Let me speak for Zimbabwe. Um, we've got players with potential, but they're not ready to do the extra, to put in the work and to trust the process. They just want the offer. What are you offering, coach? Yes, I want to join your team, but what are you offering? And in return, I have to teach you how to play again, and all that. I feel like our local players should really improve on that.
Yeah,
Coach
sorry.
Russ there. And
Please, sorry. Just,
gentlemen, okay, just before you come in, David, I think due to the interest of time, we need to close this conversation. But I will give you an opportunity, though. So I will go to anyway. Let me start with you, David. So give your closing remarks and add your thoughts to what Coach Russ was saying. And then there's a question in the comment section that I would also like you to comment on from Jacob, who is wondering why MBB is participating in the Bal Qualifiers when they have already qualified. So that is Jacob who would like to know that. So David, over to you. And please, I know you have a lot of talk time, but just be brief.
okay. I just wanted to echo on what Coach Russ said. It's actually very, very interesting where somebody will come and say, "What are you offering? What are you offering, coach?" Uh, like, um, what I'm offering is to teach you the game. I'm offering you an opportunity to teach you the game, showcase your talent, and get paid out of it. Because right now, trust me, most players they'll make it out there, but they'll never go back and say, "Hey, coach, you made me be where I am. Let me start compensating you for the knowledge that impacted me for me to be where." It's always the one-sided story. So for me, players should start looking at it to say, if I come to you, I say, come and play for me. I want to teach you the game. What I'm offering is the knowledge to better you so that you can make it out there and start earning a living. That's the thing. And coming to the question, talking about MBB, looking at the situation in South Africa, I believe, I don't know if I'm correct, I start to be corrected that the MBB is a new team. The team that qualified was Cape Town Tigers, and Cape Town Tigers is not there. So I think to say MBB, they need to go through the process of them qualifying because it's a new name. It's not Cape Town Tigers. So they need to go through the whole process. I hope I've answered that question correctly. Because I feel to say that's how I look at it in terms of why MBB participating in the qualifiers and not just going straight. And for my closing remarks, I just want to urge the people out there, especially the corporate world, to start looking at basketball as the next big thing away from soccer. Because if you go even on the betting platforms at the moment, the international betting platforms, basketball is second. We also can make the local basketball second, especially in the local scene. So we just want to, I just want to aid the corporate world out there to say part of the CSR, let them channel it to basketball. And they'll see the results. Because right now, we've got talent that's so low that is just being wasted. We can make this league a professional league and be able to compete at the point where we are able to export players. Because right now, kids out there are crying for centers. They're crying for players. And they're looking at Africa. Take advantage of this. The market has been created. We have 12 guys right here in Zambia. Why not capitalize on that? So, to the corporate world, please invest in the sport. Let's see the game of basketball growing, and you're going to see a lot of lives in the game.
Okay, so let's get to hear from Coach Griffin. Your closing remarks. Coach Griffin, your closing remarks briefly. Coach Griffin, just kindly check your microphone. We can't hear you.
Oh, okay, okay. I'm
Yeah, we
saying
can hear you
David.
now.
Yeah, I'm saying David embarrassed me at home. I'm coming for him in Zim, um, and Coach Russ as well. Even though
That's
with
you,
that
big.
home advantage, with that home advantage, Coach Russ, I'm coming for you as well. You know, outside the court, we are friends, and I wish after the game we can meet and share a drink, and talk about basketball and share knowledge that can improve our games in different countries. I'm happy that you called us for um, this session. It was very good, and I hope we do this often so that we can know more about what our friends are doing in Zambia. What our friends, I wish we had somebody from South Africa as well, or and someone from Mozambique. It could have been better. I hope you can do that next time. As for my closing remarks, apart from the fact that Basketball Africa League is expensive, the truth is that the exposure that is there is worth it. You know, to expose the talent of our younger players, to expose the talent of the generational talent in different countries, to see what basketball can become is something that we never thought we would have, because the FIBA Club Championships, they had just become very, very dull, you know. But with Basketball Africa League and the NBA also bringing some entertainment and make it more exciting with the NBA Academy and everything, it's more entertaining. It's more not only entertaining but commercial. In terms of commercial advantages that comes with a team qualifying for the Elite 16 as well as the actual BAL. It brings a lot of brand visibility. You know, most international companies can look at you, agents, you know, other coaches. They look at your talent from the technical panel to all the players. So we might complain about all of this, but the truth is that we need Basketball Africa League. So my closing remark is that the kids in different countries must work hard. When they watch these games, it's not that easy. People put in work, like what David said. We are too lazy in Africa. That's the problem. We are too lazy, especially in Southern Africa. I've not seen a Zambian that works very hard. At least Zimbabweans, they've got this work ethic, but Zambians and Malawians are too lazy. You know, they will demand for things, but when you tell them this is what you need to do to get to this level, they won't come through. That's the issue. So we work hard, we play at the highest level, we get the opportunities, then the exposure that we get out of Basketball Africa League, then we move on, then we improve our game. That's all I can say. Thank you. Thank you very much, my guy. Hey, can you unmute? You have mute your mic. We can't hear you, man. We can't hear you.
I was saying thank you, Griffin, for coming through, and everybody else for joining. Coach Russ. Coach Russ currently has already left. I don't know what has made him to run away, but he missed the message from Coach Griffin that Bravehearts is coming for hounds. But all the same, I'll be able to deliver that message myself. And to Coach David Msonda, thank you very much for even abandoning practice, to be able just to come through and be part of this conversation. And everybody else in the comment section that was tuned in, actively engaging, participating, sharing your 2 cents on the game of basketball with one objective specifically, which is to build the game, not to tear each other down, but to build the game via constructive exchange that is progressive. The name is Winston Mavor. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you next week when we get to talk basketball. And the beauty is, next week's conversation will be at the tournament. So you never know. We may just have all the coaches in one room and do the Lord's work in Harare, Zimbabwe. So to everybody else that was watching, good night and see you next time.
Bye-bye.